The Prince of Darkness has left the building. On July 22nd, 2025, the world lost a true legend, Ozzy Osbourne. A man who defied expectations, shocked the world, and created a sound that reverberated through generations. Today, we don't just mourn his passing, we celebrate the incredible, chaotic, and utterly unforgettable life of Ozzy Osbourne.
Oh, you know. And I always remember one day I came out of Heathrow Airport and one of the road crew gets in a Lamborghini and my wife picks me up in a Volkswagen, and I suddenly scratched my head and I thought, there's something wrong here, you know. Just raped, and I said to my ex-man, I like to be kissed when I'm getting time, you know.
Why did Ward leave the band, you know?
I really don't know. I haven't spoken to him since the day I left. I speak to Tony very little, and even less to Bill. So Bill is as bad, he's worse than me, Bill.
But Ozzy always says that leaving a band is like a divorce.
It's
and
just like getting divorced, you know, exactly.
At first you're angry, you get really angry.
You only know what you've missed when it's gone.
Born John Michael Osbourne in Aston, Birmingham, he was just Ozzy to his friends. But with Black Sabbath, he became the voice of a revolution. Alongside Tony Iommi, Geezer Butler, and Bill Ward, they forged a sound unlike anything heard before. Heavy metal. Discuss the impact of their first albums, the dark themes, and how they laid the groundwork for countless bands.
Better and better, you know. It's just gone from better to better.
But people still think of you in a Black Sabbath context. You know, we get a lot of people.
It's a natural thing for people to think that, because after all, I was with them for 11 years and I was the voice behind Black Sabbath for so many years, and I was, I suppose, an integral part of the band's sound. It was like me versus them and them versus me still. It was still the kind of animosity was still alive and kicking. You know, I thought I could outdo them, they thought I could outdo me. So a lot of people say, oh, this sounds like a...
After parting ways with Sabbath, many thought it was the end for Ozzy. But the madman was just getting started. His solo career exploded, producing anthems like Crazy Train and Bark at the Moon. But it wasn't just the music, it was the persona. The bat-biting incident, the Alamo movement. These weren't just scandals, they were part of the mystique of Ozzy. They cemented his status as a rock and roll outlaw.
Get this gig going for me, you know. My wife worked her ass up for a year to get it all organized. And the guy goes...
Leaving a band is like a divorce.
It's just like getting divorced, you know, exactly.
At first you're angry, you get really angry.
Well, we used to rehearse across the road from a movie theatre on I think it was Tony who said, isn't it weird that people pay money to go and get the out of them? You know, why don't we do music that way?
Purely because the rehearsal place where we were rehearsing was across the road from a movie house, and we just looked at a line of people waiting to go in to see this horror movie, and we thought, isn't it funny that people pay money to get the pants scared off them? And we just thought, yeah, why don't we try and do that, put that kind of a theme to music, and it just developed from there, really.
You know, you've got to remember at the time.
Then came the Osbournes. Suddenly, the Prince of Darkness was a lovable, bumbling dad on MTV. This show pulled back the curtain, revealing a surprisingly domestic and hilarious side to the metal icon. It made him a household name beyond rock circles, and showed a genuine, albeit chaotic, family dynamic that resonated with millions. It changed the public perception of him forever, showcasing his humor and heart.
In a rehabilitation sense, I did.
I mean, I should be dead. We all should be f***ing dead to what we got with the shit that we were f***ing abusing motherfuckers, man. We used to rape and pillage everywhere we went. We were f***ing nuts. I was stoned all the time, and so I didn't really appreciate what was going on around me. And I was into the sex, drugs, and the rock and roll was paying for my sex and the drugs.
In the end, disaster happens. It's inevitable to happen, disaster, because it's like drugs. They were okay at the time, but we outgrew them, you know. We were told lies by management. We were taken advantage of by so many people. We've all been through a lot of emotional things and a lot of addiction problems and a lot of marital problems.
In them days, I wasn't that wealthy from the music game.
Right.
Because the manager and the lawyers were taking it all off us.
Yeah.
I mean, the lawyers get the check before you do, and they put the bill in. So if you got a check for 20 grand, you get maybe fucking 3 grand out of it.
Management we had never let us realise how big we were, you know. I mean, we always used to think we were lower than...
Just weeks before his passing, Ozzy gave one final powerful performance with Black Sabbath at the Back to the Beginning concert in his hometown of Birmingham. It was a monumental event, a symbolic closure to an unparalleled career, and a testament to his enduring love for his fans and music. He performed from a bat throne, a poignant nod to his past. His family confirmed his passing on July 22nd, surrounded by love.
Incredible riffs, and he was always kind of like the undesignated leader of the band, so I would kind of lean on him as being like the father image of the band, and when anything went wrong, I would kind of let him sort it out, which was wrong of me, I suppose. It was all left on Tony's army shoulders to do it all, you know. But it was kind of like ego, drugs, alcohol, and women were the biggest. I should say alcohol and drugs were the two main ones.
Fired you. Did you think, well, that's it for Black Sabbath?
No.
For Black Sabbath.
I was in like, staying on West now, at the Le Parc Hotel.
It was a very sad period. I remember leaving. I locked myself in a hotel room for three months, just getting smashed out of my brains every day, you know.
I'm gonna have the party of my life till I've done it. God, so I'm in there one day, and Sharon knocks the door and she goes, "If you clean your act up, I want a manager." When she said to me, I'm like, "She want to manage me? What the fuck?" She's got me together.
She changed everything for you.
She saved my life.
But it was time anyway. It was time for a change. I'd had an idea of doing a solo project all along the line, and it was kind of we'd outrun our course, you know, for that time, and it was the best thing that had happened actually.
My separation from Sabbath, I thought it was all over for me. I thought, you know, I was probably end up back in a factory in Birmingham.
But at the time, I was like, it's over. I'm back on the dole. You know, get my burgling suit out again.
Ozzy Osbourne was more than a musician. He was a phenomenon, a man who embraced the darkness yet brought immense joy and entertainment. His music will continue to inspire, his antics will forever be legendary, and his spirit will undoubtedly live on in the hearts of millions of fans worldwide. Rest in peace, Prince of Darkness. Your madness will be missed, but never forgotten.
Metal riffs.
Oh, I was very kind of pissed off and bitter, and there was war when I went, and there was a lot of things said. But that's all in the way. It's all bullshit. You know, I'm mature to it. You know, I've come through a lot, and I guess the guys as well. I mean, I suppose to a certain extent, I believe in destiny, and I suppose, what I can honestly say, that I'm glad back with the guys and friendly. If we never do anything more than this, we're friends and we can pick up the phone and say how you doing, which is the best, more valuable to me than any music. That we're back to being friends again.